Okay, what was going on today? It seemed like that topic of, I guess, Chinese drones spying on you is still a thing. And this one's actually related to DJI and its app. It's one thing if the drone itself is actually sending back data, which the fear is to, like, say, the Communist Party or whatever. It's another thing if the app itself is actually reading everything on your phone. I think this is basically what this one's about. This one says, popular Chinese-made drone is found to have security weakness. Researchers found a potential vulnerability in an app that helps power the drones, highlighting US officials' concerns that Beijing could get access to information about Americans. Cybersecurity researchers revealed on Thursday a newfound vulnerability in an app that controls the world's most popular consumer drones, threatening to intensify the growing tensions between China and the United States. In two reports, the researchers contended that an app on Google's Android operating system that powers drones made by China's DJI collects large amounts of personal information that could be exploited by the Beijing government. It's kind of interesting reading this in one of the reports. It says, while there are technical reports sponsored by DJI stating that their associated mobile application, DJI Go 4, is harmless and does not send any personal information back to the Chinese manufacturer, we wanted to assess the technical capabilities of the application ourselves. And I guess from looking at the code, they found out that they could, I guess you could say, arbitrarily just update stuff on their own without the need to get it approved from, like, Google, for example, because usually you'd have to get it approved and they'll say, okay, it's good to put on the store, but they're claiming here that you can basically update things as is. And the fact that it has access to your contact details, your phone information and all that basically makes it scary. It says here, given the wide permissions required by DJI Go, access contacts, microphone, camera, location, storage, change network connectivity, etc., the DJI or affiliated third-party servers have almost full control over the user's phone. So again, that's the fear that they're claiming in this report, that they can have access to all of this stuff. And for them to prove their point, how they can change it, I guess, remotely, like if you were one of those devious people, in doing the emulation test, you can see here, like in the Go update, they changed the text. It says, you must install this faked update. So in that section, they say here, shady features, auto update mechanism. While Google Store is usually used to update an application, DJI also implements its own update mechanism in the DJI Self-Upgrade Manager class. The application checks the URL, which is basically the DJI server, and it says for a configuration file, and can even force the update for the application if flagged. Does that make people worry? Although reading this was kind of interesting because I was actually taught to do this not so much for security, but more because this application actually keeps running in the background even when you close it. And I was taught to basically force stop it, and I've been doing that as a habit. And this one actually says unstoppable application. If you close the application in Android by swipe right, it doesn't close. The app continues to run in the background and makes network requests. So you do have to actually manually kill this application if you want it to stop. I did it because I noticed this thing was draining the batteries and stuff. And again, I was told you need to force stop this by a person before, and I've been doing it ever since. And then this one was kind of interesting because this one actually relates to that Parrot and Nappy USA announcement. If you guys remember, they were basically attacking DJI and their security. It basically relates to the same thing because this one says here, Mob SDK framework. The application embeds an SDK framework developed by mob.com, designed to get almost any metadata available from the smartphone. Mob Tech is advertised as a data intelligence platform designed to help developers to gather data from applications. At least, this framework works as intended. It collects data, a lot of data. As anyone can see in this, basically in their Java class, almost any data which can be used to track a user is queried. It goes from screen size to brightness to WLAN addresses, MAC, BSS IDs, Bluetooth address, etc., etc. So yeah, basically anything on your phone for the most part. According to this anyways, they said DJI made a statement about it, but it's kind of weird. Why does the Android version have this? And apparently they didn't find this in the Apple one. It says here, quote, this safety feature in the Android version of one of our recreational flight control apps blocks anyone from trying to use a hacked version to override our safety features, such as altitude limits and geofencing. Brendan Showman, a DJI spokesperson, said in the statement, if a hacked version is detected, users are prompted to download the official version from our website. He added that a feature was not present in the software used by the governments and companies. That brings in kind of the two interesting points, I guess. One there is, he's saying the force update stuff is to make sure people are using legitimate software. And two, I kind of mentioned that before, where a lot of the tests saying like there's no information leaks and stuff usually revolved around things like their government editions. So what happens if you just talk about the regular consumer ones? Because a lot of like law enforcement, they actually just use the regular consumer ones too. Again, to my understanding, this is mostly theory on what could happen. Nothing has actually been proven, to my knowledge anyways, of leaking information and all that. But it makes you wonder if they will react to this in any way, especially with all that tension in the US with China and all that. If anything out of this, you should at least force stop the application whenever you're done with it. Again, I've been doing that ever since just because it's been draining the battery and so forth, so why would you want this thing running in the background anyways when you're not using it, right? Alright, see you guys later.